Hey guys, it's your favorite social scientist here, RJ. Welcome once again to our journey of soul education. I encourage you to subscribe, share, and ask your questions in the comment section. We will be glad to respond. As we continue to explore the depth of the soul and its purpose, today we are going to shift our focus to something that may at first seem external, but is in fact deeply connected to the soul's essence, nature. Nature is not separate from us. It is not something that exists merely for us to use or enjoy. In truth, nature and the soul are profoundly interconnected, bound by the same divine essence that flows through all things. Today, we will explore the interconnectedness of all life and reflect on the sacred relationship between the soul and nature. Throughout human history, many cultures have recognized nature as a reflection of the divine, whether in the rustling of the trees, the flowing of the rivers, or the majesty of the mountains. Nature speaks to us of something greater, something timeless, something sacred. But how often do we truly pause to listen? How often do we stop to recognize that the same divine presence that resides within our soul also flows through every living thing? Nature, in its beauty and complexity, is an expression of the divine. And just as the soul is on a journey of growth and transformation, so too is nature constantly evolving, shifting, and renewing itself. The first step in understanding the soul's connection to nature is to recognize that nature is alive with the same divine energy that animates us. It is not something passive or innate, it is a dynamic living expression of the divine. When we walk through a forest, or sit by the ocean, or gaze up at the stars, we are encountering the divine in a different form. And in these moments of connection, we can sense a deep primal truth that we are not separate from nature but a part of it. Our soul is woven into the very fabric of life itself. The interconnectedness of life is a concept that is both spiritual and scientific. On a physical level, we know that all living beings are part of a vast web of life. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, and all these things are provided for us by nature, and without them, we could not survive. But this interdependence is not just physical, it is spiritual. The soul, like nature, thrives in connection, just as every tree, animal, and plant is part of a greater ecosystem, so too is the soul part of a greater spiritual ecosystem. We are connected to all living beings through the invisible threads of love, compassion, and shared existence. This is why when we harm nature, we are not just harming the environment, we are harming ourselves. The soul cannot thrive in isolation. When we destroy forests, pollute rivers, and exploit the earth's resources, we are cutting ourselves off from the very source of our spiritual nourishment. When we care for nature, when we protect the environment, plant trees, and live in harmony with the earth, we are nurturing our own souls. We are participating in the divine dance of creation, honoring the interconnectedness of all life. Nature is not just a backdrop for our lives, it is a teacher. There are profound spiritual lessons to be learned from the natural world, if only we take the time to observe. One of the most profound lessons nature teaches is the importance of balance. In a healthy ecosystem, every element plays its role in maintaining harmony. The balance between predator and prey, between growth and decay, is essential to the flourishing of life. So too, in our spiritual lives, balance is crucial. The soul thrives when we balance our inner world with our outer actions, when we cultivate both stillness and movement, solitude and connection. Nature reminds us that life is not about extremes, but about finding harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. Another lesson we can learn from nature is the inevitable cycles of life. Just as seasons change, spring gives way to summer, summer to autumn, and autumn to winter. So too does the soul go through cycles of growth, rest, and renewal. When we accept these cycles and align ourselves with the rhythms of life, we find a deeper sense of peace and purpose. Awakening to the soul's connection with nature is not just a philosophical exercise, it is a call to action. To live in alignment with the soul means to live in harmony with nature. This requires us to shift our perspective from just seeing nature as a resource to be exploited to seeing it as a sacred partner in our spiritual journey. One way to align with the rhythm of nature is through the practice of mindfulness in nature. When we take time to be fully present in the natural world, whether by walking in the park, sitting under a tree, or simply breathing in the fresh air, we reconnect with the deeper currents of life. We allow the soul to expand, to feel its connection to the earth and to its creator. Another way to honor the soul's connection with nature is through sustainable living. When we make choices that protect the environment by reducing waste, conserving energy, and supporting practices that preserve the earth resources, we are not just helping the planet, we are nurturing our own soul, and we are living in alignment with the sacred interconnectedness of all life. As beings with both physical and spiritual capacities, we have a unique role to play in the care of the earth. This is often referred to as the role of stewardship, the responsibility to protect and nurture the natural world for the future generations. Stewardship is not just an environmental responsibility, it is a spiritual one. When we take care of nature, we are fulfilling our purpose and as part of the greater whole. We are honoring the divine presence in all living things and recognizing that the well-being of the planet is directly tied to the well-being of our souls. In many ways, the health of the planet is a reflection of the health of the human soul. When we live disconnected from nature, driven by ego and materialism, the earth suffers. But when we live in awareness, compassion, and a sense of interconnectedness, the earth heals, and so do we. As we close today's reflection, I invite you to take a moment to consider how your relationship with nature is. How often do you take time to connect with the natural world? How can you honor the sacred interconnectedness of all life in your daily choices and actions? Remember, the soul is not separate from nature. It is a part of the same divine flow that innates all living things. When we awaken to this truth, we begin to live not just as individuals, but as a part of a greater whole. We recognize that our well-being is tied to the well-being of the earth, and that by nurturing nature, we nurture our soul. Thank you.